Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for iFive for the iPhone is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. With over 35 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips, Shutterstock helps you take your creative projects to the next level. For 20% off any image file on your new account, go to Shutterstock.com and use the offer code iFive614. Hello everybody and welcome to iFive for the iPhone episode 96. It's so nice to see all your smiling faces week after week. Thanks for being you. I love you. This is the show that covers the latest iPhone news, apps, tips, and tricks. I am Sarah Lane, your guide to all things iOS, most things anyway. And yeah, let's just jump right in. Number one. Okay, so Facebook really does not want Snapchat to have all the fun. Its Snapchat clone, Facebook Poke, remember that one? Came out in January of last year. It really wasn't a hit. The company recently actually pulled it from the App Store altogether. Now the same idea is back, but reimagined with a new Facebook app called Slingshot. The idea is that there are moments like photos or video and you're slinging them, that's their verb terminology, to a bunch of people at once. Or you can sling to a bunch of people at once. You could just do it to one person too. But here's the catch. If that person on the other side wants to see your shot, that's what you sling to them. I'm just playing along with this stupid terminology. They have to sling something back to you in order to unlock your slingshot. Now, I'm already seeing people that, are testing this out like I am, grumbling about how this is a really clunky way to have a conversation. Kind of like, you better show me something in order to see what I originally said. Like, what comes first? It's almost like a chicken and egg problem. But I think, and Facebook probably thinks this too, it has the potential to get a lot more people used to sending photos and keeping that back and forth going. The whole ephemeral messaging phenomenon is not just a no-brainer for a lot of my friends. People are like, what? How do I do this? What does it mean? So people need to get used to it. And I think Facebook could be onto something with this. But here's my issue with Slingshot, besides the fact that it has a silly name. First of all, it crashes a ton. I had like 3 crashes within my first few minutes of using it, and that always turns me off to an app. Now, it is brand new in the App Store, and in fact, it briefly made an appearance in the App Store last week, and then it got pulled. So it seems like maybe Facebook rushed this a bit, and there are some bug updates to iron out. But second, nobody's using it. Now, this is a Facebook product, but when I synced it with my Facebook contacts to find all my friends, well, nobody showed up. And only 3 people in my iPhone's address book are using the app specifically, at least when I last checked. So I know Facebook's experimenting with apps that are totally separate from the overall Facebook experience, but it just doesn't seem ready for the world yet. It is free, but I say, I don't know, wait it out. Let the poor saps like me provide all that crash test data so you don't have to. Number 2. Okay, question time for all of you. How many of you would be just totally 100% comfortable handing over your iPhone to a friend to just scroll through your camera roll? Anything in there you prefer that nobody sees? I'm not talking naked. I'm not judging you. I'm just saying we probably all have, at the very least, maybe a few unflattering selfies, at a bad angle or whatever that you haven't cleaned up yet and you just don't want the whole public looking through, even if it's a friend. If that sounds like you, an app called Here, Look is your super easy solution. That's actually the name of the app. The app lets you just pick a few photos and then click Here, Look, and then you hand your phone over. So the friend or the family member or whoever only sees those photos and they can flip through them over and over and over. When they're done, they hand your iPhone back to you. You just go ahead and triple tap and then you return to your albums. So it's sort of like 1 part organization, 1 part privacy. And for 99 cents, all parts awesome. I like the name too. Here, look at my non-nude photos. Number 3, we got an email question from Carlos who writes, Well, I'm enjoying the new features and messages presented at WWDC. The one thing I really want in iOS 8, and is available on Android, is the feature to change the theme and color layout of my background in Messages. That boring white background has been getting repetitive to look at far too long. Do you think Apple will let developers create apps that will allow us to change it? This is an easy one, Carlos. No. First of all, Apple's not going to let its Messages app be accessed by third-party developers. It's a system-level app, and that's just Apple. Second, Apple's not really in the business of letting the user decide things like this. That's why Apple design is so well known, because it's exactly the same for all of us. It's a uniform look, and that is on purpose. Now, you mentioned iOS 8 and WWDC, and the company has relented a bit, or will be when we get iOS 8, a bit on design control. For example, users will be able to install custom keyboards in iOS 8 over the native one, like the kind of keyboard Swipe makes. That's a pretty popular one. That's exciting for a lot of people, especially people who are used to how the Android operating system works, where as a user, you just have a lot more control over what your experience looks like. But changing the look of Messages? No, don't hold your breath. Or just convert everybody that you talk to on Messages over to WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or some other texting app that you think looks nicer. I know that's not what you wanted to hear, but that's all I got. This episode of iFive for the iPhone is brought to you by Shutterstock.com. At Shutterstock.com, you'll find the perfect image or video for your next creative project. Maybe you're building a new website, or some sort of advertisement for your company, or a video, any type of project. You can choose from over 35 million high-quality stock photos, illustrations, vectors, and video clips. The company sources images from all over the world, puts them right at your fingertips. Many of the contributors to Shutterstock are professional photographers and artists. They really know what they're doing. Shutterstock reviews each image individually before it goes into the Shutterstock library. Plus, they're adding 20,000 images every day. So every time you visit, you're bound to find something totally new and totally awesome. What about pricing? Well, that's flexible. You can choose individual image packs or a monthly subscription for the best deal. You can download 25 images per day with a standard subscription. That might work better for you. And you download any image in any size and just pay one single price. Shutterstock has sophisticated search tools. You can drill down by subject or file type or emotion, color, all that good stuff. And shareable lightboxes make it fun to work with a team. You just save an image to a lightbox gallery, and then someone else can access at any time and share with other team members. Plus, an award-winning iPad app. Leo and I have talked about it on iPad today. You can search on the go, use it to display images during your presentations. And you can try Shutterstock today just by signing up for a free account. Put away your credit card, you don't need it. Just start an account and begin using Shutterstock to help imagine what your next project could be like, and save a few images to a lightbox and check them out later. When you decide to purchase, use the offer code iFive614, that's IFIVE 614, and new accounts will receive 20% off any image file. That's Shutterstock.com, and for 20% off any image file on new accounts, use the offer code iFive614, and thanks to Shutterstock for their support of iFive for the iPhone. Number 4, do you know how vertical videos are the lamest thing that you can do on an iPhone? But we all keep forgetting not to rotate our phones horizontally before we shoot video because we're used to holding it upright. And then you end up with a bunch of vertical videos that people will judge you for? Don't act like this hasn't happened to you. It just happened to me the other day and I felt so foolish. Okay, so Steve, aka SAF on Twitter, which is a pretty good name by the way, suggested an app called Horizon, which is all about recropping your video to horizontal no matter how you hold your phone. Now, I had some issues with Horizon when I first installed it. It completely locked up my system. I had to delete the app and reinstall it and then even restart my phone. Not a great first impression. Had some issues this week. However, it did end up working out, and it definitely does what it promises. Here's the thing though, and this is something you really want to keep in mind. You're cropping your high-res photo into a less high-res version in order to fake a horizontal video. There's no getting around that. It's like you've digitally zoomed in a little bit. Now, sometimes that's not going to bother you, but the quality is slightly worse. You should know that. Also, you have to take your videos in the Horizon app in order to take any advantage of this. You can't import videos that you've already taken with your regular camera app's video feature. Now, I have no problem using, let's say, all of my photography apps to enhance all my photos. But for whatever reason, I still choose to take the original photo in my camera app. It just makes sense to me. That's where I'm also taking videos. So that's why Horizon's kind of a good idea, but only if you're willing to like bury your camera app and then put Horizon front and center on your home screen. And if you are, that'll be $2, please. Finally, number 5. I don't want to act like I'm like anti-vertical across the board though. Not so. We actually got a great duh tip from Steve in Vermont, who reminds us that vertical can be the way to go. He writes, take a panoramic photo of a tall building or tree or anything vertical. Simply choose Pano in the native camera app, turn your phone into landscape orientation, start the pano and go bottom up, or tap the arrow to go top down. Bam! A beautiful photo with real character. It's kind of weird that I've never even done this, ever, and I've seen lots of tall trees in my day. I forget about panoramic photos in general, actually, and I don't know, maybe you have too. You know what would be kind of cool? You can take a nice tall photo and then resize it with some white space using whiteogram, and then upload it to something like Instagram and confuse all your friends. It's the ultimate, hey, how'd you do that? Thanks for the reminder, Steve. And that does it for this episode of iFive. That was fun! All of the apps and links and other information from this show and all of our shows are at twit.tv/iFive. You can email your ideas or questions or app suggestions or just, I don't know, you can cry and moan and tell me a story at iFive@twit.tv. You can leave us a voicemail at 614 on iFive, or you can send us a video of your own. I'm Sarah Lane, and we'll see you next week on iFive for the iPhone.